All right, so our last speaker is Clarence Wooten. He's a many times over successful entrepreneur, a real business leader, a pillar of our community, and his current company, CollectiveX.com, is a very awesome internet startup that's right here in our area. So please welcome Clarence Wooten.
Thank you guys for sticking around. There we go. All right. Well, it's great to be last sometimes. All right, so we're going to talk about thoughts and lessons that I've learned from being a serial entrepreneur. First off, you got to be a little crazy to be a serial entrepreneur. So, start off with that before we get to any other slide. Interesting for me. All right, so who the hell am I? I am a Baltimore native. I grew up in Baltimore City and Baltimore County. I come from an entrepreneurial family. I went to Hopkins with writers and brainiacs. I'm neither. I'm an entrepreneur. I started 4 companies. All right, so what is an entrepreneur? Well, dictionary.com defines entrepreneurs as a person who organizes and manages any enterprise, usually with considerable initiative and risk. But before you can be an entrepreneur, you're probably going to be an entrepreneur, which is how I started, right? Now, there's 2 types of entrepreneurs. There is the small business person or small business entrepreneur, person who wants to work for themselves, which is great. And then there's true entrepreneurs, which are people who want to change the world. So think coffee shop owner versus Howard Schultz. So I'm going to talk about true entrepreneurs. First off, we understand leverage. We know that it's better to own 10% of a $1 billion business than 100% of a $100,000 business. And there's a lot of people like that. We focused on scale. We want to grow. All right, 12 lessons learned. Experiences teach us slowly, unlike these slides, and at the cost of mistakes. So you can learn from other people's experiences and not necessarily have to make the mistakes yourselves. So let me start talking about some of mine. A paycheck is an addiction, not unlike crack or any other type of addiction. We've been trained that work equals paycheck. Work equals paycheck versus work to build an asset, which is the way entrepreneurs think. So 99% of the population works for 1%. So beware of naysayers. So because 99% of the population are employees, most of them will tell you not to go into business for yourself. So beware of the guy in the BMW who's a successful employee who does really well and poo-poos your idea. 3, be like Nike, just do it. You create your own inertia. Unlike corporate America, you don't have infrastructure. If you don't do it, it doesn't get done. There's no secretary, there's no roadmap. You got to be like Nike and just do it. Next, fail fast and fail cheap. Most entrepreneurs will tell you don't be afraid to fail. I'm going to tell you to do it fast and do it cheap. But you can fail in small increments while you're building a business instead of large increments. So make sure it's cheap because you only get one chance to lose an investor's money. Partner pitfalls. Most of us are terrified of going into business for ourselves. So we want to go into business with others and be 50-50 partners. Guess what? Those of us who are married, we know it's not 50-50. So be very, very careful about that. And I'm no longer married. Next, be naive. Be naive. It's very important to understand that when you start a company, particularly like me, I was 19. When I became a CEO, I thought that made me Bill Gates' peer. So I would pick up the phone and call Bill Gates, right? We're both CEOs. Next, business is a team sport. So go out and hire A players because A players recruit A+ players. B players recruit C players. C players recruit Z players. And before you know it, you'll wake up in a company surrounded by Z players. Challenge your comfort zone. I wasn't always comfortable giving these talks. But I knew if I was going to build a business, I'd have to be able to talk to people in groups like this who could follow me, follow my passion, etc. And we can make things happen. Image matters. Don't get a ridiculous looking business card printed out on a dot matrix printer. I bet they still exist. With a whack logo. Build a great website. Don't go cheap because people will judge you based on your image. Very important. Shadow of a leader. As an entrepreneur, recognize that everything you do, you're giving your employees carte blanche to do. So if you take shortcuts, you'll build a company full of shortcut takers. So the minute you call somebody to the carpet, they'll say, you do it. So remember that. Investors expect their money back. People, when you're starting a company, investors invest in you because you have no company yet. Once you build a company, then you can go out and get venture capital, institutional investment, and grow a company. But you got to recognize they want their money back. Number 12, cash and customers. Very important. Translation, finance and marketing. Most great entrepreneurs understand those two things. So you need to be able to understand, how to go out and raise the money and how to make the money versus marketing. So you need both of those things. For me personally, I can zero it down to 4 things that I want you to remember if you remember nothing else. Be very passionate, be focused, because it's very easy to lose focus and you need to channel your energy as an entrepreneur. Be persistent, and if you do those 3 things, you'll be lucky, because luck is when opportunity meets preparation. Last but not least, go out and change the world and enjoy the journey, because you'll blink and 5 years have gone by and you've been working basically 24-hour days almost. So have fun. Why do it if you can't have fun? And as we mentioned, I have to give a shameless plug, right? Always, all right. So go to ignitebaltimore.collectivex.com so we can continue this conversation. We've created a social collaboration site using CollectiveX. You guys can network. So if you didn't get to know the person sitting next to you in here, you can get to know them online, because that's what this is all about. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming out.